Picture this. You're walking into a mall, or maybe a subway station, and you're faced with a choice. On your left, a nice, effortless escalator. On your right, a staircase. Now, be honest, you're probably going to take the escalator, right? And hey, you're not exhausted, you're not carrying a heavy couch, you pick it just because it's there. But the second you step onto it, bam, there's that tiny, annoying little pang of guilt. You start thinking, man, I really should have taken the stairs, or wow, I haven't used my gym membership in literally 3 months. It's that classic, low-level shame we all carry around in the modern world. But listen, what if I told you that you aren't lazy at all? What if you're actually doing exactly what you're supposed to do? Let's get right into it.
So why do we constantly beat ourselves up over taking the easy way up? Well, modern wellness culture basically screams at us that taking the escalator is some sort of moral failure, like we're totally betraying this grand, hyperactive ancestral heritage. But honestly, the reality is the complete opposite. Choosing that escalator is actually a massive biological triumph. It's the result of 2 million years of hardcore human evolution. Look, if your actual prehistoric ancestor, the ripped caveman the fitness industry always wants you to act like, if they were standing right there next to you, they would pick the escalator too, and they do it without a single drop of guilt, completely backed by every survival instinct in their DNA.
This whole idea really comes into focus when we look at the work of Dr. Daniel Lieberman. He's an evolutionary biologist at Harvard who spent decades studying both living hunter-gatherers and our extinct ancestors. And his main takeaway? Well, it's pretty uncomfortable for the modern fitness industry to hear. He essentially says that when people avoid exercise, we're quick to label them as lazy, but they're literally just doing what we evolved to do, which is to avoid unnecessary physical activity. You see, the very concept of working out purely for health, burning energy for absolutely no immediate practical reason, is a totally modern invention. In a prehistoric world where food was incredibly hard to find, wasting calories on a jog was basically a death sentence. The humans who conserved their energy survived. The ones who burned it for fun? Yep, they didn't.
And this energy-saving instinct goes way, way back, like way before we were even human. Take a look at this number, 10.5. A major 2016 study in the journal Nature tracked chimpanzees, which are our closest living relatives. Out of a 12-hour active day, they spend about 10.5 hours doing absolutely nothing, just totally inactive. Our earliest ape ancestors evolved for this low-energy lifestyle to suit life in the rainforest. Now sure, when climate change pushed our ancestors out onto the open grasslands millions of years ago, we did have to evolve to walk upright and burn more calories to survive. But that deep, ancient craving to just chill out whenever possible, that came right along with us. It's a pre-human feature that is literally hardwired into your brain's operating system right now.
Section 1. The Hunter-Gatherer Paradox. Moving for a reason.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like ancient humans just sat around all day. They definitely moved, and they moved a lot. But, and this is absolutely crucial, they did not exercise. To understand the difference, researchers look at the Hadza people in Tanzania. They're one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer groups on Earth, so they give us the best possible glimpse into a prehistoric lifestyle. When you look at their daily walking distances, the numbers are just staggering. The men are clocking roughly 8 to 11 miles a day, and the women are hitting 4 to 6 miles. On paper, it sounds like they're ultramarathoners in training, but researcher David Reichlin tracked them with GPS, and here's the kicker. None of this is exercise. Every single step has a strict survival purpose. They are walking to get food, carrying babies, or hiking to a water source. The literal second the chore is done, they stop completely. 0 extra steps.
To really put this into perspective, let's look at the actual daily breakdown from the American Journal of Human Biology. This completely blows up that myth of the perpetually active, always-running caveman. An average person in a pre-industrial society spent maybe 2.5 to 5 hours a day doing moderate to intense physical activity. But look at the rest of the day. 19 to 21 hours were spent resting and sleeping. It's wild, right? The historical reality is that human life was marked by these short, intense bursts of necessary work wrapped up in massive, massive amounts of resting. So that chronic, low-intensity, gotta get my 10,000 steps vibe promoted by fitness culture today, it's not actually our ancestral ideal at all.
However, we really need to clarify what that ancient resting actually looked like, because it was very different from how we chill today. Think about modern rest. We melt into ergonomic desk chairs, stare at static screens, and our muscles are essentially doing zero work. Ancient rest, on the other hand, was what you might call active resting. The Hadza don't have comfortable recliners. They sit on the ground, often squatting. And actually squatting or sitting unsupported requires continuous low-level muscle activation just to keep you from falling over. Plus, they're always shifting around, maintaining tools, or socializing.
So their inactivity is surprisingly active. The real villain in modern life isn't that we rest too much, it's that we do this sustained, static, completely unsupported sitting in a world designed to require absolutely zero physical effort from us.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2. Get ready for a major twist here. This is the calorie burn plot twist, based on the 2012 Ponser study.
So Herman Ponser and his team set out to compare how many total calories the highly active Hadza hunter-gatherers burned every day compared to your average sedentary office worker in the West. Now, going into this, the assumption was totally obvious, right? The Hadza are walking up to 11 miles a day. They must be burning way, way more calories. Well, prepare to have your mind blown. When the researchers adjusted for body size, the Hadza burned the exact same number of daily calories as an office worker who sits at a desk for 8 hours. Literally the same. Let that sink in for a second. A population hauling through the African savanna all day burns the same energy as someone clicking a mouse in a cubicle. How on earth is that biologically possible?
Well, it all comes down to how your body incredibly and kind of sneakily budgets its energy. When you dramatically increase your physical movement, your body biologically compensates. It literally takes energy away from other internal unseen processes like inflammation, stress hormone production, and even reproductive activity. And it redirects those calories to fund your muscles. On the flip side, when you sit at a desk all day, your body doesn't just stop burning those calories. It basically says, oh, we have all this extra energy, let's dump it into internal processes, which unfortunately turns up the dial on things like chronic inflammation. So while movement is absolutely crucial for your health, it totally wrecks the old myth that our ancestors were healthier simply because they burned thousands of extra calories a day. They really didn't.
And yet, despite not burning more calories, our ancestors were ridiculously fit. How does that work? Simple. Extreme fitness was just an unavoidable side effect of staying alive. They weren't hitting the gym for leg day. Their cardiovascular systems were optimized simply by surviving. They built insane functional strength without even trying. Look at this. A fascinating 2017 study looked at the arm bones of ancient Neolithic female farmers. It turns out their bone strength absolutely crushed that of modern elite athletes, even the women on the current Cambridge University rowing team. These ancient women definitely weren't doing bicep curls in front of a mirror. They spent years digging, hauling, carrying, and grinding grain. The fitness was just a consequence of doing the work. The minute our technology removed the need for that physical labor, our automatic fitness vanished right along with it.
Which brings us right to the core issue we are dealing with today. Dr. Lieberman actually calls things like cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes diseases of comfort. Basically, these are the results of an evolutionary mismatch. Think of your body as a high-performance piece of hardware that was meticulously shaped by millions of years of intense physical demands. But now, that same hardware is trying to run in a modern environment that demands absolutely nothing of it. Your heart and lungs were literally engineered with the strict expectation that you'd have to sprint away from danger, carry heavy loads, and walk long distances. When society engineers those physical inputs completely out of our lives, the outputs start getting messy. The hardware starts to fail.
So wrapping this whole explainer up, we need to completely rethink the escalator. Taking it is not a character flaw. It is an evolutionary design mismatch. We really have to strip away this toxic moral guilt that the modern fitness industry loves to sell us. Literally nobody ever gave a prehistoric farmer a high five for their commitment to an active lifestyle. They just moved because they had to eat. Your brain is doing exactly what it was perfectly programmed to do by wanting to save energy and take the easy way up. We've built a world practically designed for convenience, and to a body that treats wasted energy as a threat, convenience equals sitting still. So the real question here isn't how to guilt trip yourself into sticking to some miserable gym routine you hate. The real question is, how can you design a life that makes necessary movement unavoidable again? How can you hack your modern environment to bring back that constant, low-level background hum of physical effort? Maybe it's biking to work or putting your printer on the other side of the house. Whatever it is, your body was built to run best when it's moving, but it is never, ever going to organically remind you to do it. Actually, it will actively beg you to sit on the couch. And that's not a bug, it's your oldest survival feature working flawlessly. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this gives you something to think about the next time you're standing in front of those stairs